Well, hello there. I'm Gemini. That battery can last up to 24 hours even with the always-on display turned on. It's pretty cool.
Peace and blessings be with you. As we approach these final sacred nights of Ramadan, the Qur'an seems to pull our hearts in, calling us to a deeper and deeper sense of awareness. So today we're going to journey together through the really profound guidance of Juz಼ 26.
Let's start with this question that just hangs in the air throughout this part of the Qur'an. It's asking us to think about that moment in every single life, when all the noise, all the distractions just fall away, and reality is standing right there in front of us. This is really the heart of the matter. It's the moment the soul awakens.
So, we're going to walk a path together today. We'll start by looking at some lessons from the past, and then we'll move into the principles that shape our character and our communities. And from there, we'll take that journey inward to the real work of transforming our own hearts.
And what's so amazing about this is that it's not just a random list of topics. No, it's actually a structured path for spiritual growth laid out right here for us. It takes us from the outer, the zahid, the things people see, and it guides us step by step deeper into the inner, the batin, the true state of our hearts.
So let's begin our journey with those outer lessons, with history. Surat Al-Ahqaf is this really powerful reminder, isn't it? It talks about civilizations that came before us, and even though they saw crystal-clear signs, they let their arrogance, their confidence in their own ways, blind them to the truth.
And here's the thing. These aren't just meant to be interesting stories about the past. They're presented as living, breathing warnings for every single one of us. They're like a mirror, held up to our generation, asking us, hey, what are you so sure about? What might you be missing?
So from those warnings of history, the Qur'an then pivots and turns our gaze inward to the state of our own faith. Surah Muhammad really drives this point home. Belief can't just be a label we wear or a part of our cultural identity. It has to be this real, genuine commitment from deep inside, what we call ikhlas, sincerity.
This really lays out the contrast so clearly. It poses a very personal question for each of us, right? Does our faith actually change who we are? Does it shape the way we talk, the way we treat people, the way we handle life's challenges? Because true faith, it's like an engine for beautiful character. And this call for sincerity flows so perfectly into Surat Al-Fath. This chapter dives into the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, which at the time felt like a huge loss, a major setback for the companions, and yet Allah calls it a clear victory. It teaches us this incredible lesson in patience and absolute trust, or tawakkul.
I mean, what a powerful principle for our own lives. The Qur'an is teaching us that real victory doesn't always look like winning right away. So often, divine wisdom unfolds in ways we just can't see in the moment. It asks us to trust that there's a plan that's so much bigger and more beautiful than our own.
Okay, so we've looked at our inner sincerity and our patience. Now, the focus shifts to how we treat each other, our social conduct, our adab. Surat Al-Hujurat is basically a divine blueprint for building a healthy, compassionate, and truly strong community.
And the guidance it gives is just so practical. We're warned against the very things that poison our relationships and break down trust, things like mockery, suspicion, and gossip. These aren't just minor suggestions. They are the absolute foundations for keeping the heart of a community alive and well.
And then the surah drops this completely revolutionary idea about what makes a person truly honorable. In a world that's obsessed with wealth, status, race, and power, the Qur'an says, no, that's not it at all. The only true measure of honor in the sight of God is taqwa, that beautiful inner consciousness of Him.
And now our journey takes a really important turn. Now that we've looked at our outer actions, we're guided deep, deep into the inner realm, the batin. Surat Qaf and Athariyat invite us to just stop and contemplate God's incredible nearness, His constant awareness of us. Just sit with that for a second. Closer than His jugular vein. Wow. This nearness isn't meant to make us afraid. It's meant to cultivate this constant, gentle awareness, a state of dhikr, of remembrance. It's a reminder that we are never, ever alone. Surat Al-Dhariyat then tells us to look around. Look at the wind scattering the clouds, the vastness of the sky, the earth that brings forth life. All of creation is speaking. All of it is a sign. But to actually hear those lessons, we need an attentive heart. We have to be willing to listen.
And all of this brings us right to the core theme of this Juz಼, waking up. Waking up from what's sometimes called spiritual sleep. It's just so easy to get lost in the day-to-day grind, in all the distractions, isn't it? And the Qur'an gently comes and shakes our shoulders, inviting us to wake up to a life of real purpose and reflection. So how do we do it? How do we begin this beautiful work of tazkiyah, of polishing the soul so it can really reflect the divine light? Well, it starts with asking honest questions. What is it that's pulling me away from being present? Do my actions actually line up with what I say I believe? How am I really showing up for others? These are the questions that unlock true growth.
You know, in our world today, we're just bombarded with noise 24/7. But this is such a crucial reminder. That spiritual clarity, that deep connection we're all looking for, it's almost never found in the loudness. It grows in the quiet. It grows in reflection. And these last nights of Ramadan, what a perfect gift. What an opportunity to just slow down and listen.
And so it all comes down to this. The question isn't whether there are signs of God's truth out there. They're everywhere. They're in history, they're in nature, they're in our relationships, they're inside our own souls. The only question is, are our hearts awake enough to see them?
For me personally, this journey through Juz಼ 26 it's a very humbling reminder that this path of awakening is a lifelong one. It needs so much gentleness with ourselves and so much persistence. So I pray for myself and for every single one of you, O Allah, our loving sustainer, please awaken our hearts from their sleep. Polish the mirrors of our souls so that we can see your beauty in everything, and guide us on this path of sincerity and patience and beautiful kindness to one another. Ameen. This reflection was compiled with deep gratitude by Mir Ali Shah, who is a fellow seeker sharing his journey through the Living the Wisdom of the Qur'an podcast. And because this narration was brought to life with the help of technology, we humbly ask for your forgiveness and for God's acceptance for any mispronunciations or errors that might have occurred. Thank you so much for sharing this time.